All right, today we are diving into a story that just completely blurs the line between what's real, what's a dream, and what's, well, destiny. We're going to explore Nidhi, which is a journey that promises a hidden treasure but ends up delivering something way, way more interesting. So just think about that for a second. You have this huge, life-altering experience, you figure something out that changes your entire perspective, and then you wake up. It was all a dream. But before you can even really process that, the dream starts to bleed into your waking life. That's the crazy paradox we're getting into today. Okay, so the source for all this is Sreejith Eravil's incredible short story. And let me tell you, this is not your typical treasure hunt, not by a long shot. It's really a psychological deep dive. We're talking about reoccurring dreams, internal conflict, and the very nature of what we're all looking for in life. And you know, like all the best treasure stories, this one kicks off with a pretty dark and bloody history. To really get what our characters are up against, we first have to understand the legend behind this cursed gold.
So, what's the deal with this treasure? Why is it so feared? Well, it all goes back to Tipu Sultan's time. A massive fortune gets stashed away, but its guards are ambushed and killed. For years, the gold is lost. But then, some local tribesmen find a few coins, and it just sets off this firestorm of human greed. We're talking murder over a single dagger, betrayal, and one guy who drowns in a lake clutching a stolen ring. Now, that lake, tuck that detail away, it's going to be a big deal later.
So out of all that violence and greed, a powerful legend was born. And the local belief is simple and absolutely terrifying. If you go looking for that treasure, you're not coming back. So you think nobody would be crazy enough to go after this thing, right? Well, you'd be wrong. Two men decide to risk it all. But what's so fascinating here is that their reasons for going are complete polar opposites. Let's meet them. So on one hand, we've got our narrator. He's a spiritual seeker, right? He's really struggling with this Hindu philosophy of Tat Twam Asi, which is basically the idea that God or the divine isn't some force out there, it's already inside you. But he's not buying it. He wants tangible proof of an external God, and he thinks this mysterious, unseen power in the forest might be it. And then you've got Muthu. Muthu couldn't care less about philosophy. He's drowning in debt, and for him, God and money are the same thing. He just wants cash.
And this is where Muthu drops this really cynical but kind of brilliant piece of philosophy on us. He says, it doesn't matter if you're chasing God or gold. The journey's the same. It's always driven by this desperate, all-consuming desire for that one thing you think is going to save you.
Okay, and right here, the author throws a massive wrench in the works. We find out our narrator, the guy telling us this story, has a bit of a fragile mental state. He's been institutionalized before for unusual thoughts. So that forces us, the reader, to ask this huge question. Can we actually trust anything he's telling us? Is this journey even real? Or are we just trapped inside his head?
So, with that huge question just hanging there, our two travelers head into the forest. And this is where the journey really becomes a descent, not just into the wilderness, but deep into the narrator's own mind.
The vibe just gets creepy fast. The light vanishes and the air fills with these strange alien sounds. And while our narrator is getting more and more freaked out, Muthu is just strolling along with this weird confidence, like he's been here 100 times before. It's so unsettling, and you get the feeling the forest isn't just a place anymore. It's becoming a physical manifestation of the narrator's own internal chaos. As they go deeper and deeper, you can just feel the narrator's grip on reality starting to fray. And that brings us to the climax. And trust me, this is where things get really wild. Picture this. They're deep in the forest, and Muthu just stops. He says, "We're here." He suggests they rest till morning. And then, without any warning, bam, he clicks off his torch. Total, absolute darkness. He's calling out for Muthu, but there's just silence. He's gone. Then, the legend literally comes to life. He starts to hear the phantom sounds of horses, Tipu Sultan's ghost army. All his logic, his courage, it just evaporates. Overwhelmed, he collapses, feels this strange dampness on his face. A flash of lightning splits the sky, and then he's out. He opens his eyes, and he's not in the forest anymore. He's underwater, in a lake. And you have to assume this is that same cursed lake from the legend, the one where the thief drowned. And in that moment, seeing his own face reflected in the water, it's like a lightning bolt hits his brain. The whole thing just clicks. That external God, that unseen power he was searching for out there in the world, it was inside him the whole time. He finally gets it. Tat fum asi, thou art that. He finally found what he was looking for, by finding himself.
So, there it is. He's found his treasure, spiritual enlightenment. The end. Right? Not even close, because in the very next moment, he wakes up again.
And this is the real gut punch. He's not in the Kuta forest. He's not in the lake. He's back where he started, at a temple. The entire journey, Mutu, the cursed forest, the terror, and even that profound spiritual awakening, all of it was just a dream.
So, what does that mean? If you have this huge breakthrough in a dream, does it even count? The story doesn't give us a second to think about it before it does something truly mind-bending.
So he's just lying there, trying to piece this incredibly vivid, life-changing dream together, and who walks up to him? It's Muthu, the guy from his dream, in the flesh, calmly carrying a cup of tea, like nothing happened.
Mutu sits down and starts telling him a story about the treasure of Tipu Sultan, the curse, and an unseen power in the Kuta forest. It's the exact same story from the dream, word for word. And then Mutu looks at him and asks the one question that changes everything. Shall we go? And that's where it ends. It just leaves us hanging in this perfect, chilling loop. So what was the dream? Was it a warning, telling him to stay away? A premonition of exactly what's about to happen? Or, and this is the interesting one, was it a test? A way of saying, okay, you've learned the lesson that the treasure is within you. Now, are you still tempted to go look for it outside? And that's when you realize the real treasure was never the gold. It wasn't even the spiritual insight he had in the dream. The real treasure is the choice he has to make right now, to go or not to go. That decision is the entire journey.
Which leaves us with one final question to think about for ourselves. What's the treasure that you're searching for in your own life? And maybe more importantly, is it something that's out there, waiting to be found? Or is it, like that reflection in the lake, something you just need to find within yourself?